What's happening?
Good morning, Mike.
Morning. Someone just signed up. I want to make sure they get invited to this. Then there's probably some folks trying to get in here. Aiden, David, Jason, Nick. All right. Somebody just signed up for the program, so I'm just making sure that they are in this training as well. So let me just take 1 second to get them in here. And then we are going to dive into discovery and enterprise deals today. And done. All right. Good morning. So I'm a little under the weather today. Also, I'm pretty sure I broke a rib or bruised a rib, and so I'm on a little bit of a muscle relaxer right now. So I'm pretty chilled out. But we're going to do some cool stuff today. I want to start a fresh piece of paper by doing something I haven't done with you guys before. Share my desk view if I'm able to. Let me do this. Move my stuff around. Okay. All right. You guys see my desk? Beautiful. All right. So what I want to show you, what I want to talk to you guys about is what you should be looking at when you're on a call. This is going to get into discovery. A couple people I missed. So let's talk about call docs. Okay. So a call doc, I'm not going to look at a script when I'm on a call. It's way too much to look at, right? But what I want to have is a call doc like this. So what I do is before a meeting, I'm going to put here, you have no audio. Does anybody else have audio and it's just him? Everybody else, and they've got audio. I think it's a you problem.
Testing.
Yeah, we can hear you. Can you hear us?
Yeah, I got you loud and clear. Somebody said they didn't give audio. So.
Perfect.
All right. So this is what I'm going to start with. So at the top of my page, there's a couple of things I want to get, a couple of different types of discovery questions I want to be asking. The first is some personal discovery questions. So this is, why'd you join the call? I totally get why this is important, but for you in particular, why is that so important? That's my favorite 2 questions. Why are we on the call? I want to see what you guys can do. I totally get why somebody can do is important for you in particular. Why is that so important? Why are you joining the call? Well, you said you could make us more money. Totally get why making money is important for you in particular. Why is that so important? Okay. And what have you tried to do this? Or what are you planning on trying? Okay. Based on this, I'm going to learn what their personal cares are, the knife, if you will, that I'm going to want to twist as we move. So it might be money. It might be I got a pain in the ass problem. This is going to make it less of a pain in the ass. But now, instead of having a bunch of notes like this that I can't read, when I go to twist the knife, it's very simple. I already know where it is. I've already got 2 notes for it, so it's easy for me to figure it out. Now, similarly, I might ask a business question or others call stakeholders. Stakeholders are questions. So it might be like, what does your boss care about? Why would your boss be interested in this kind of a thing? What sort of changes would you need to see within the business for you guys to even consider a tool that's going to cost extra money? Now, this might help me learn more about, I might have 2 more things that are business related. So maybe that's like, you want to increase the number of something or that some project is happening. So again, I now have these 4 things that I'm like easy to just look down and be like, yes. So the reason I'm showing you feature 6, product set 12, whatever it is you're talking about later, you can tie it back to something to give a shit about. For all of you guys that are managers in here, we talked about when you're managing and you give them feedback, it's supposed to be, hey, can I give you some feedback when you blank happens, right? But I said in that training, it's if you say, the blank happens component, the consequence, if that consequence is not something the person cares about, the feedback doesn't work. Similarly, if on a sales call, I'm like, this feature, whatever, will help you do something, and that thing, the consequence of having that feature is not one of these 4 things, doesn't matter. Now it's a nice to have. So you always want to know, like, what are they motivated by? What are their personal and professional goals? So that you can say, like, by having this feature, it allows you to increase this number or get this project done or makes you more money or it's less of a pain in the ass. If you don't say these 4 things, they're just like, oh yeah, that's cool. It's blue. Sweet. Okay. So then the next thing down here is product. So this is basically like in your product or offering service, whatever you want to call it. Are there, which areas should you prioritize your time? So my product question might be something just like, what's more important, speed or comprehensiveness? Or maybe from this, I've heard them say it's, it's really important. The reporting is important. So I want to then just put that right here. So it's like, okay, reporting and I don't know, I'm making shit up, data. So now this is my first 5-10 minutes of the call. When I go into the demo or the discussion about what it is that I sell, I can now start with, hey, I know that money is really important to you. So I want to show you this feature, reporting feature, that's going to help you guys identify some opportunities to make more money. Understanding you said it's a real pain in the ass to do this product. Let me show you the reporting that's going to make this less of a pain. Now I'm going to keep their attention because I'm like only talking about shit they care about. But what I find is that most people ask a bunch of questions and the notes look like this. And then when it comes time to discuss, it's really challenging because above your head, you're holding like all the training you've been given, that the thing the marketing lady told you to ask, what your boss said in the last call that you were on, your nerves, and also the answers to the discovery question, all in your head. And then you're trying to improvise the most important for the customer, which can be very, very, very challenging. So instead, I have these little things up here that are just prepping me. So I'm just like, oh, okay, I'm just going to go to this next part of the demo. Fuck. Oh, yes, you mentioned money. Tell me more about that. And it's very easy to find your info. So again, my call doc will start with 2-3 questions that I like up here, and then a box for personal, professional, and features, so that I can know which feature should I highlight, and then where should I twist the knife. You guys with me so far?
Yes.
Thank you. All right. Now, the last thing I do, so then on my paper, this is all open space. There's nothing on here, always, like this much, so that I do feel like I can take notes. Then all the way at the end, I have my key questions. What are the next steps to get this, if you want to move this to the next stage? If it doesn't work out, why would that happen? And if that happened, what would you do? So here I just have like the script, basically, like the 3 questions, or maybe it's just like something like this, because I know what I'm going to ask, so it just gives me a little reminder. Why, what? So now this reminds me, so that at the end, when I'm doing the demo and I see I've got this blank, this helps me make sure that I leave 5 or 10 minutes to actually get these things answered, versus being surprised and going, oh, fuck, shit, what did you think? And also it makes me have the answer to this question. So if you're a rep and your boss always asks you the same 3 questions about your deals, put those 3 questions down here so that you make sure you always get it. If you're smart and you know that your 3 questions should be, what are the next steps for you internally, whether you want to move forward with someone like us or somebody else, totally get that. If this did not work out for some reason, you did not sign up with us or somebody else, what do you think are the most likely areas that would have caused you pushback? And if that pushback were to happen, what do you think you might do given the information you have so far? This tells me what's the road, what are the speed bumps, and is your car capable of handling those speed bumps? So I can provide you with new shocks like case studies, use cases, whatever, to help you be able to handle that. Call doc. Well, I print these out. I'll show you this, and I'll put one in the recording here. I'll put this in the chat. Cool. So I got a couple questions up here, and then this is for me, I put a prompt for myself of like, here's the 3 things I might get people will say at the end. So here's how I want to answer them. And then I call this next steps, bottleneck solutions, because I know those questions pretty much by heart, but I've got a spot here to be like, what are your next steps? If it doesn't work out, why? And if you didn't work out for that reason, what do you think you would try to do to solve that? So now if I have this open, I got my place to take notes. I can always refer up to here to understand like what their pains were. And I got reminders down here to fill out this and know what the next steps are. Cool. On the back here, just so you guys are aware. So these are the different communication styles. We'll do this another time, but different communication styles of people and how you can do rapport, disco, demo, closer, next steps differently depending on the communication style you're looking at. And then here's a bank of some questions you can steal. Cool. All right. Push back in here, questions in there, clarifications on call doc or anything I said in there that maybe got your attention. Go ahead.
I missed the very first one before the business reason. Was it personal?
Yeah,
personal reason.
Personal. Why are we talking? Totally get why that's important for you in particular. Why is it so important? And if you're like, but Mike, it was outbound, I'd be like, cool. I know I called you out. I called you directly, but why were you open to having a conversation today? So someone's like, oh, you called me. I'd be like, yeah, but you agreed to the meeting. So now that you're here, why did you agree to spend a half hour talking to some sales guy? All right. Other questions or pushback or clarifications or anything like that? Okay. All right. So the next thing I want to talk about here is stakeholders. So I want to paint a picture. I want you guys to think about when you were in middle school or high school. You got a sister or a brother. And if you were an only child, think about like times now when you're hanging with your buddies and everybody wants to maybe go on like a trip. So that's a better example. Let's think about the group trip, because everybody's always trying to plan some group trip, a dude's trip, a girl's trip, a family trip, whatever. The reason you do or do not, let's say that trip is a product. That trip does not need to provide ROI, all right? It just needs everybody to agree that that's what they want to do, which is effectively ROI. It's like their return on time. They're like, do I think it's worth it to do that? Do you think it's worth it to do that? Do you think it's worth it to do that? So everybody's sort of evaluating the return on time, the investment of time. So when you think about how you're going to propose to your buddies, yo, let's go to Cancun. It's not a matter of you going, I found a place. It does make sense. We should do it, which is what we do. We're like, we offer a product. It does match your needs. You will move forward. We'll do the trial. I did show ROI on the trial. Therefore, you move forward. I showed you, you said problems. I provide a solution. Therefore, you move forward. That's how like the sales gurus I feel like online talking about. They're like, you put them in a corner by asking questions and getting them to realize that like they have to move forward. But logic is not always just going to make them move forward. Yes, Cancun is a trip. Yes, we did say we want to go somewhere warm. Yes, that is within the budget that we want to go on. No, I don't want to go. That happens because, sorry, it's so gross looking at me right now, I'm sure, but the reason is because there's ego involved, and there's alternative options involved, and there's alternative motivators. So I might say no to that Cancun trip because I'm like, I didn't come up with it. And so I kind of just feel like I want to look at the things before I let us go anywhere. Or there's other options. Hey, that probably is good, but I want to see other options before I make a decision. Or like, well, I actually wanted to bring up another idea to the group, which was like not to do a summer trip. It was to do a dude's ranch trip. It's completely different. So now, even though everything checks the boxes of the trip that we all pre-agreed we wanted to go on, they're going to say no. So I want you guys to have that visual or whatever in your mind, because you've all gone through that. You know, you brought, hey, let's go out Thursday, and your friends don't go out. What? You people are there. So the same thing is happening in business. So I'm going to say, hey, Amber, what do you want? And you're going to be like, I want a proposal software. I'm going to be like, here's a proposal software. And you're going to be like, it's exactly what I'm looking for. And you're going to go, I'm going to bring it to my team. And your team's going to say no. And we're going to be like, I don't know what happened there. Or you're going to ghost me. And I'm going to go, I don't know. She said she liked it. I don't know. The reason is because in the calls we had, we never uncovered what the stakeholders' challenges are. So what we want to do, let me pull something up. So this is my med pick, if you will, or medic, whatever you like to use. Not that. Okay. So in a deal, we focus on, do they like it? Can they afford it? Do they like it? Can we show ROI? But what you want to do is you want to be able to think your point of contact. Sure. What do they like? What is their current challenge with the situation we're in? Oh, we use that NetSuite. It sucks. We want this product. Oh, our roof leaks. It sucks. We need to get our roof fixed. Whatever it is. But we want to ask the same question about, what about your boss? Like, why would your boss be interested in this? Or why does your boss not like the current software that you guys have or tool or whatever? And the same thing for others. What about your marketing team? What is the challenge they have with the current situation? Your wife, your husband. Because if we go through what we do instead is what we do this. And this is like me being Lucky Charm cereal, being like, what do you want? And the kid's like, Lucky Charm cereal. And I'm like, why do you want it? They're like, marshmallows. And then I'm like, okay, go buy it. And they're like, oh, my mom didn't want it. They didn't get it for me. Because you never asked about the fact that your mom cares about vitamins and minerals, right? So Lucky Charms slaps some vitamins and minerals in the box. So too, we should be in our call going, what are you looking for? Totally get what's important for you in particular. Why is it so important? Hey, when we think about your current situation, if I had your boss on the call right now, or if I had the person that you typically report to on the call right now, or if I had the person that you would need to go to get this approved, should that be somebody above you or below you on the call? What do you think they would say is their problem with their current situation? Or this product that we have typically impacts your family. When your whole family here, what would they say? This product typically does end up bleeding over into marketing a little bit, might touch some of your finance reporting. So if we had your finance team and your marketing team here, what are a couple of things they would want to know more about? This is how you can get some clarity on what those other people care about. So when you're talking about your demo, your product, you're not just talking about their personal, their professional, their features, but also the same things for the other people on their team. Oftentimes what we're doing is whatever. I think I belabored the point there. If you guys sell a product that is removing an incumbent, removing some software or whatever that's already there, or even a process that's already there, this is really these questions here is really kind of the big important ones. So your person is usually going like, yeah, this is a pain in the ass for me. I want a solution. My boss doesn't care that my job kind of is hard sometimes. My peers don't care that sometimes my job is kind of hard. Nobody cares about that. My boss cares about how accurate things are. So right now, your boss might have no problem with the current solution. The current solution is I do a report every week. It takes me 8 hours to make this report. As far as my boss is concerned, it could take me 8 seconds. So my boss has no challenge currently with the current process. So now what we need to do is we need to figure out how can we show that if we gave you 8 hours back in your day, that could solve some other challenge of your bosses. Similarly, others are not going to care about reporting at all. The marketing team might care about just like the results of their campaigns. And so we need to argue how maybe if we give you more time back in your day, you can be more involved in the campaign creation, thereby increasing the value of the campaigns. And that's how you get something from, hey, with our system, it'll take you 2 clicks. With the system you're currently on, it takes 2,000 clicks to matter to the boss. Well, now I've got 8 more hours in the day. I can do more work for my boss. Well, now I can get more involved in campaigns. I can help the marketing. You guys with me? Cool. Everything that you anything that you sell something, they already have a solution for. If I were, even if it's something that they've never had, AI, we don't have any AI tool. We never needed ChatGPT ever, but I'm replacing your brain. So I'm like, hey, I sell ChatGPT. This is going to make you be able to use less of your brain. This person could say, no, I spent a lot of time building my brain. I went to 85 colleges. I don't want to buy a ChatGPT because I spent so much time on my brain. Now, bringing this to a real life example for like sales, if I'm selling a roof, I already built the last roof, so I don't want to actually have you come on it. Or if it's a process, it might be like, you know what? Like I'm actually the person who built our whole CRM, or we have all these policies I had to write up, or there's like 3 meetings I run a week that I'm like the head bitch in charge. So I don't want to get rid of them. So these are things that would negatively impact some. Oftentimes when I'm running my pipeline reviews with sales reps, we get to a point where I go, wait a second, but wouldn't that get rid of Sarah's job? And the rep's like, yeah, isn't that sweet? That's a great selling point to the CEO. And I'm like, no, because Sarah's our coach. She's never going to sell this internally. So you need to think about who will be negatively impacted by buying your solution. And somebody will be. I like to think about political landscape just to understand other people, like who else is involved, like who likes who. And I've literally asked that question to people. Hey man, like you got to go internally. Let's figure out who are all the people that are going to be in those meetings. You got to go. Sweet. Is there anybody in there that like your boss is just more cool with? So they always kind of take their opinion. Because we've all worked in companies where there's a dummy. And if the dummy is your champion and you don't know that they're the dummy, you're going to go, he pitched it, but it didn't work. Yes, because you didn't understand that you needed to get other people in the room who are valued by the boss to also say yes. So your sales process should have been, how do we get Joe involved, Jake involved, or whatever involved, because they have more value than you do. I wouldn't say it like that, obviously. So that's why you need to understand this political landscape. On the political landscape, what I'll say is typically the strategy is I'll call it a flanking and a blitzkrieg. Okay. So what I mean here is you need to get everybody possible to be on board ahead of time with whatever your product is. So if you guys are going to sell internally, if your kids want to take you guys to Disney World, or whatever, if kids want you to take them to Disney World, holy shit. If your daughter says, let's go to Disney, your dad's going to go, Jake, do you want to go to Disney? And if Jake, your brother, does not want to go to Disney, you are not going to Disney. If ahead of time you were like, yo, Jake, I want to go to Disney. You want to go to Disney? No. Well, what do you want to do? I want to go on fucking sick ass roller coasters. All right, yo, look at these roller coasters. They're so sick. Oh, dude, you're so right. We should go to Disney. All right. Well, I'm going to ask Dad if we can go to Disney. When I do, make sure you say hell yeah. Okay, cool. Sweet plan. Hey, Dad, I want to go to Disney. Really? Me too. I want to go really bad. Think about how much more likely you are to now go to Disney because you did the flanking and you blitzkrieg together. So when you have someone who's like, I'm going to a meeting, I'm going to propose this to my boss, your first thing out of your mouth should be like, who else is going to second you? Evan, this guy who always comes to these trainings, he asked me a question the other day and he was like, what is the motivator for most people to buy something? or in the buying process? Like, what are the motivators within the buying process? It's the same every time. It's risk mitigation. It's plausible deniability. Your dad doesn't want to take you to Disney World because unless both of you guys agree, because if he goes to Disney World and you have a bad time, you're going to be mad at your dad. You made us go. Similarly, your people on your buying committee don't want to go to dad and put their neck on the line and say, we should go to Disney World, because then if they go to Disney World and it sucks, it's their fault. That's why people that are going to present something internally up, they need to have a committee of people that all go, hell yeah, I want to get it. That way your person has plausible deniability. We're all sharing in the responsibility of whatever decision we're making. And on the other side, if your boss hears that everybody is cool with it, that your boss has plausible deniability, he's also sharing in that responsibility. So that's why it's so critical to understand like what everybody else cares about, that kind of stuff. And the paper process is what we talked about earlier, which is like what are the next steps? Assuming that goes well, what happens then? If this didn't work out, why? Pushback, questions, clarity, stuff on this. Okay.
One question here, because when we're talking about like flanking and getting cheerleaders, I have found it real difficult like to find, once I get someone who's like on board, they are very reticent to like bring other people into the conversation.
Yeah, so ideal state is they bring other people on a call. Second level of that would be like they'll forward information over a video or something like that. Third level, which is where we usually have to live, is estimating what everybody else would say. So I most of the time don't have those people on calls, but I am going to them. I'm going to go, hey man, when you're going to present this to your boss, you're next going to be in the line. So it'd be great if we can get other people to also say yes to something like this, so that you can share some of the risk on your company. Who would those people be? X, Y, and Z. Awesome. So let's think about it. What is that guy going to care about? What is that guy going to care about? What is that guy going to care? I don't know. Let's make a guess, or can you forward them these questions and we'll see what their answers are to these questions, or can they join a call? Which of those makes the best sense for you? Because otherwise you're going to go and have to put your neck in the line. That sucks. So I think I'm motivating them to do it because it's like, hey, let's share your responsibility, and then I'm giving them a tangible outcome. Either it's what do you think? Or I'll send these 10 questions to your boss, and so we can get his input before we go to it, or whatever directly.
Makes sense. Cool.
Fantastic question. You guys know where to find me. Love you all. I'll see you in a week. Ciao.
Bye.